Hey everybody, this is Yusuf and Rusty for Dad's Free Time Game Reviews, where I review the games that I play when no one needs me. Oh man, this one's a doozy. Spider-Man, Web of Shadows, Amazing Allies Edition. So Spider-Man 3 came out in 2007, you know, the Tobey Maguire movie. This game came out a year after that, 2008. Now they made a Spider-Man 3 game for Xbox and Xbox 360, PlayStation 2, and PlayStation 3. But they also made a game that was supposed to be for Spider-Man specifically, like the comic book Spider-Man and not the... But then of this, they made two versions. So there's a version that's a 360 slash PlayStation 3 version, and then there's a version that's a PlayStation 2 slash Xbox version, I believe. Now the Xbox version also is for PlayStation Portable or PlayStation 2. It was a last gen and a current gen thing at the time, okay? Now the Spider-Man 360 version is a roaming game in which you complete missions. You can change back and forth from the black suit to the red and blue suit. It's free roaming. It's pretty indicative of all the games that happen in this generation and last generation, with the exception of Spider-Man the Movie 1, Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, and Spider-Man Edge of Time, which were largely narrative, story-driven games that happen inside of big corporational buildings, or just closed set stages. Now they saved most of the two-dimensional games as side-scrolling games for handheld gaming systems, like the Nintendo DS or something like that, Game Boy Advance. But on this one, they decided to be like, fuck you, and make a 2.5D game that is nowhere near as close to the other Spider-Man Web of Shadows. The only thing that aligns these two games together is, one, there's Spider-Man in it, and two, you can change your suits. And changing your suit changes your combos. The suit that's black has a little bit more strength. The suit that's red and blue has a little bit less strength but more speed. Now the story goes that Spider-Man fights Venom, Venom explodes, and then Venom's Venom juice gets caught all over the city, turning everybody into Venom zombies. Now you have to run through to find a cure to fight these Venom zombies. You have to stop the Venom zombies from taking over. You have to obviously make choices as the black, angry Spider-Man or the good red and blue Spider-Man. Along the way, you have a bunch of people name dropping shit. So Luke Cage is in it, Nick Fury's in it, the Kingpin's in it, the Shocker's in it, Rhino's in it. Everybody who's normally sitting there chilling in New York makes an appearance in this. Even Nick Fury's understudy, the girl with the black hair, Jessica Drew, she's in it. Now, a Spider-Man game nowadays is not a Spider-Man game without having the I'm helping the neighborhood Spider-Man bullcrap, right? So Spider-Man goes, and as he's going through the missions, he runs into people and people ask him to do things. But it's not like, oh, people are beating me up, Spider-Man. It's like, hey, Spider-Man, I left my underwear on the flagpole, and can you please get it for me? And then you have to figure out how to go up and down a flagpole to get this dude's underwear. Some stupid stuff like that. And these are little side quests, and side quests are really dumb in a 2.5D game. The amount of dialogue that has to be read in this game is humongous. Like, they didn't hire any real voice actors except for maybe one or two people just kind of sitting around in the office. They didn't hire anybody else to do voice work. So in order for them to have this voice work omitted, they're going to nail you with all of this talking. It was a ton of it. Just too much. Like, if you don't believe me, go ahead and check out my video. Any one of those videos will show how much I actually had to read during this game. Also, there was like this hit detection problem that was driving me up the wall. I mean, at first when you started playing, the characters would just run right the fuck by you, and then they'd surround you and kick you in the face and stuff, even if you were swinging right at them. Like, if there's two guys, it's a 2.5D game, two guys are standing there, one swing should hit both of them because it's 2 dimensions. You can't act like all of a sudden this other guy is in a different dimension so he can run right by you and stand behind you. That's not why you made it a 2.5D game, dog. That is supposed to be a 3D game deal. That also brings me to the climbing issues, the whole I'm Spider-Man, I'm trying to be Spider-Man. The control issues kind of suck. Like, you push the jump button twice to shoot out a web. You have to shoot the webs in different directions. One thing that really pissed me off is that for some reason Spider-Man didn't have the power just to climb up a cliff. Like, you can walk up the side of the wall, but once you get to the edge, you can't just climb up there. You have to jump up there and try to move your control. And that was really bad because there were people who are standing like right on the ledge. When I tried to get up there, they just punched me and knocked me back down. And this happened a couple of times and it really pissed me off. Really pisses me off. And also the webbing, if you shoot somebody with the webbing, they will get tangled up unless you're the black suit Spider-Man, and then they don't even get tangled up. They just kind of get hit by it. It was dumb. They also had like an achievement system, so in order to try and beef up the game to make it look more interesting, Spider-Man in between these games would take all of his stuff. Like, if you do stuff as red and blue Spider-Man, you get red and blue Spider-Man points. If you do something as black Spider-Man, you get black Spider-Man points. And these points aren't really spendable. You get a certain amount of points and then those points stay up there. So if you have like 1,000 awesome black Spider-Man points, that means you can unlock a couple of Spider-Man tricks. Now, gaining strength, awesome. Gaining defense, awesome. Gaining energy power bars, awesome. But what wasn't awesome is these extra moves that you'll never use. Like, you expect to unlock moves in a combo or something like that, but no, your basic combo was the best thing that you could use in this game. The other techniques that you had took so much button pushing and they took so long to do, they became inefficient. Also, there was no block button, and you can't dodge things using the spider sense. So what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to hit people and you're supposed to jump around, which would be fine if you had control over your jump, but you don't really have that much control over your jump. Now, I know what you're saying. You're saying Yusef, but this is the Amazing Allies edition. Where are the Amazing Allies? Ah, you asked a very solid question there, my friend. You know that part of the game where you're supposed to level up and get stuff? Well, the amount of things that you collect in the game, which are never explained, like you get red spiders, green spiders, silver spiders, it's never quite explained what those things do. But you need a lot of them because apparently they hook up your amazing allies. There's a section, like a big huge section, in which you can go ahead and activate a whole bunch of little hookups in your game. Whether it be the power to use Wolverine one time, or the power to use Nightcrawler one time, or the power to use Professor X one time, some black hypnotic dude, the Afro hypnotist, something like that. Or if you want to use your spaces to give yourself a boost in energy or strength or something like that, you can go ahead and activate all these things in the game. So you go in there, you assign them to your different slots, and then when you go out into the stage, you have these things to use. That's where the amazing allies come in. And when you push the button, you think the allies just jump on the screen and kick whoever it is that they're supposed to hurt? Kinda. What happens is that the whole screen just goes kind of grayish, and then they show up and then pose a little bit, and then they disappear. It is totally stupid. And no matter what they do, all it does is result in like an energy loss or something like that. Look, I gotta tell you the truth. I didn't use any of the extras after about the 3rd or 4th stage, because I realized that they were stupid and they didn't really have anything to do in the game. They just added it so that it would make sense with that stupid title that they have, which is like a whole page and a half long. Do you want to know what the worst thing is? The worst thing about this game is that after you played through about 9 or 10 levels, it was just like, okay, well, you start to become okay with the game. I mean, you're just playing it and you know it's bad. Once you start getting used to all the bad things, the bad things for the second half of the game don't really bother you anymore. Look, oh, is a problem with hit detection? It's okay. All I'm doing is mashing buttons anyway. I'll just jump here, do this here. The bad guys are laughably easy after Kraven the Hunter, which Kraven the Hunter was just like incredibly hard to get the pattern for me for some reason. But you know, after all that stuff, everything was okay. Everything was fine. You know, your life was great. Let's just finish this game, post the game so that everybody else can enjoy my frustration, right? So then I get to finishing the game and I defeat the game completely and I get this bullshit. Like for real, dog. Like, and then I think about it. This game has absolutely no CGI, no sequences, no actual video that will lend itself to the game. Like, they didn't even pay for the video to be made. They didn't even like recycle the game video from like the Web of Shadows and then just stick it into the Web of Shadows Amazing Allies Edition. They didn't do any of that stuff. So then they just throw up a little sign and they say, hey, you did whatever you wanted to do. Now, I did it as the bad guy, as the Black Spider-Man, and then I got this stupid message, right? So I figure, oh, maybe if you did it good, you get something different. And then I look online, it's the exact same thing. One sentence, congratulations. The shit is worse than when you used to beat Nintendo games from like 1990. At least they spelled all the words right. I mean, obviously this game isn't as laughably bad as a lot of games out there, but this game is a leave it in the bin game. This game is a burn it and throw it at a person you don't like game. What makes it worse is that they threw it out there to capitalize on the fact that you don't have a 360. Like, they're like, yo, if you got the Xbox 360, we released another version of this game, only it's called the Amazing Allies Edition. And then they show you a commercial that has a whole bunch of footage from the Xbox 360 game, which is beautiful. And then you go, oh shit, they got this for PlayStation 2 as well. And then you get all hyped up, go and buy it, and then you're playing this crap. I mean, and I know they call these games cash grabs, like, oh no, it's a cash grab because of a movie that came out. It's a cash grab trying to specialize on the popularity of this thing. And it's like, okay, that's fair enough. But never before have I seen a cash grab based on a game that they release at the same exact time. Like, they release a good game and then they take the picture right off of that game, put it right on the other game, and act like it's the same game, except they put some words on it that means it's completely different. This is the most horrible thing I've ever seen in my life. Ever. Anyway, so I guess that's all I got to say about that game. And we're going to move on to Eternal Sonata. If you liked this review, please go ahead and hit that like button. Give me a thumbs up. And, you know, if you get a chance, share it with other people that you think might like it. And, you know, watch other videos. I play the game through in its entirety while I talk over the track. I yammer about other things that piss me off. I have a podcast with one of my friends, Brandon. I do Let's Plays with my other friend, Jay Barbado, and I do speed paints. That's a lot. So anyway, if any of those interest you, go ahead and check them out, and I will check you guys later. Swoop-de-voop. Free Mac Martin. Peace.